So I'd like to open with a question, and that is, why did you decide to become an engineer? And I'm sure this is a question that follows us wherever we go. I get asked it all the time when I go home. Why on earth did I decide to be an engineer? And perhaps this is asked so frequently because many people are actually uncertain about what engineers do. The common assumption is that we generally fix things, and whilst sometimes true, I feel there is a lot more to engineering than that. And engineers have had an impact, whether good or bad, on every aspect of our lives today, and we all have very varied and profound reasons for entering this field. So a bit of background on me. At school, I was one of those people who would change their dream job every single week. I grew up wanting to be an author, and then I wanted to be a baker, and then somehow that branched into wanting to be a marine biologist, which is very different. However, out of my career, I knew that I wanted something that would constantly teach me new skills, where I would be pushed out of my comfort zone every day, and where I would get to work with a diverse range of people from different backgrounds and different skill sets. And while those are important, above all, I just really wanted to make a difference in the world. So one day I decided to entertain the idea of studying engineering, which seemed really absurd to me like 10 years ago. Because I was the girl who was told off for reading books at the back of the classroom rather than doing the work because, school. And growing up, I'd always thought that engineering was a boys' subject anyway. So that probably wouldn't have been something for me, but regardless, I still decided to do a bit of reading around the subject, and I was completely hooked. It seemed like a dream, really. It would be both very academically invigorating and challenging, and it would also equip me with the skills to make a difference and actually change the world. So here I began to understand that engineering isn't just about fixing things necessarily. It's about understanding complex systems and innovating technology and working collaboratively across many different disciplines to bring about positive change. So I then carried this sentiment with me to university, where I started to study chemical engineering at the University of Birmingham. And for the most part, my degree has lived up to my expectations. It's definitely been challenging, and it's pushed me to the limits of my problem-solving skills and my people skills. And with the technical knowledge that I've gained, I feel as though I have the capacity to work very well with the current infrastructure in our society. However, I felt that there's always been something lacking, a disconnect between the theoretical concepts that I'm learning about and the real world. And this reflection has led me to the question that shouldn't our education be as much about forging paths for the future as it is about understanding the constructs of the past? And another problem that stood out to me at my time at university is that different types of engineers are just taught in complete isolation to each other, at least like from my experience at my university and other friends at universities. So as a chemical engineer, I've never had the opportunity to work alongside mechanical, civil, or even electrical engineers, for example. And we aren't even able to access the engineering building or any of its facilities, which seems bizarre because we're all branded as engineers. So why is it that engineers are educated separately when we're working alongside each other and many other disciplines, not just engineers, to solve the same problems in the world? And even beyond that, the challenges we face today require a collaborative and interdisciplinary approach, which is one that our current system does not fully embrace, I don't think. So towards the start of the first year at university, we were told a pretty staggering statistic, and a bit offhandedly, by our lecturer, and it was that 90% of the things that we're going to learn about, we are not going to use in our careers, which is a bit of a bleak truth to tell to a group of wide-eyed students who are very eager to learn as much as they can. And I feel as though this is echoed throughout every module every assignment, and every new topic that we are taught. Even if we don't directly use this knowledge, why aren't we taught the critical thinking skills that will allow us to apply this learning elsewhere? And in addition to that, there is really a distinct lack of responsibility being taught in our courses. So why is it that ethics and responsibility are integral to the training of professions such as doctors and lawyers, but is more often than not just tacked onto the end of engineering degrees? As we all know, engineers are responsible for the construction of buildings, motorways, vehicles, the food we eat, the products and devices that we use every single day. And yeah, every day we use things that have been designed and created by engineers. And if we as engineers make mistakes in those designs and creations, thousands of people can be affected. So where did this message get lost? Why does it feel as though the responsibility of an engineer is just taken for granted in our education? And shouldn't our education be explicitly led with the responsibility that we will shoulder throughout our careers? In summary, engineers need to be categorically trained to put people and the planet first. So ask yourselves, what does an engineer 5, 10, or even 30 years from now actually do? With the advent of tools such as AI and machine learning, wouldn't engineers be better off developing our skills just beyond the fundamentals? The modern engineer not only needs to be equipped with mathematical and scientific know-how, but also needs to be able to draw on a range of soft skills such as critical thinking, interdisciplinary collaboration, it's a very tricky word to say, and global awareness. It is really clear that the traditional expectations of engineers are evolving. We need to prioritize skills that foster innovation, sustainability, and ethical responsibility. These are the tools that will empower engineers to not only cope with future challenges, but to be at the forefront of finding their solutions. Despite university education offering a wealth of interesting and complex material, there is something evidently wrong with the way our engineers are being educated if the main takeaway is a stark awareness of its deficiencies rather than the engaging content and skills that we are taught about. It is clear that our education needs to be more grounded in the modern era if we are to solve 21st century challenges. In order to best develop our education, it's critical that students are kept in the loop and actively involved throughout the entire change process. We require an education system that is not only adaptive and responsive to the needs of students, but also one that anticipates and exceeds the evolving expectations of our society. So, reflecting on the way in which engineers have already shaped our world, we do have to recognize that whilst engineers have achieved really remarkable feats, their endeavors have also contributed to some of the most pressing challenges that we face today. So years ago, engineers wanted to vastly improve our lives, which they did, but however, they may have lacked the foresight of what their creations would do and often overlooked the long-term environmental and societal impacts that they would have. And even now, we really do have limited time to sort things out, with looming deadlines like the UN Sustainable Development Goals fast approaching. Therefore, the consequences of our actions, or rather our inactions, are undeniable, and there is a desperate need for change. Despite these challenges, we are all here today because we believe that our current systems can change, and that through working together, we can equip the engineers of tomorrow with the skills to protect our planet and our quality of life. So I believe that we are so fortunate to have environments such as universities available to us to help us hit the ground running in our careers. However, the journey of an engineer does not just end with a degree. The rapidly changing world requires engineers to continually adapt, learn, and apply new skills. And cultivating a mindset of continuous learning and improvement must be a priority of engineering degrees. Engineers inherently solve complex problems, and the upcoming cohort needs to be equipped to see complexity in different ways beyond just the standard equations and traditional methods that we all learnt about. So I'd like to return to my initial question. Why did you decide to become an engineer? Many of my peers admit that they are attracted to the degree's prestige and how it can be used as a launchpad into careers such as finance or business. And while, yes, these are very important fields and we can't forget about them, it does make you question the purpose of an engineering degree. How can we realign our focus to attract creative problem solvers and innovators to the field of engineering? And how can degree programs be tailored to suit the needs of an ever-changing world? So as we gather here today to celebrate and reflect on the progress made so far, it's clear that we must embrace the strengths of our current systems, but still be open to growth and feedback, so we can ensure that engineering education not only meets, but exceeds the demands of the future. And additionally, universities have already shown a great capacity to adapt to and navigate change. For example, the rapid development of artificial intelligence over the past few years has caused universities to very quickly question their teaching and assessment methods. But in contrast, the climate crisis has been an ongoing threat for decades. So why has this urgent issue not prompted a similar response? So one difficult to navigate change to our education can positively benefit thousands of upcoming engineers. So even if system change does feel difficult, remember why it is so important. So I would like to end my keynote with a reminder of why we are here this afternoon. The students of today and tomorrow are the future of engineering. We are at the starting line of our careers, and we need to leave university with the ability to keep up with the pace of an ever-changing world. I am really thankful for the opportunity to share my views with you here today. However, I am just one voice. There are tens of thousands of students going through the education system right now that aren't well represented in this room. So I hope that after today, we can continue to utilize student voice to best inform the direction of education, so that as many new engineers as possible can feel this change. Engineering is not just a career, but a calling to enact positive change, and it is critical that upcoming engineers feel empowered to do so with the right skills and confidence to make a difference in the world. Thank you.